Hey there, Ross.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Looks like we got some more folks joining here, so give them a second to join. Welcome, welcome. All right. We get started today. We're going to go over some of the latest updates from last week, some housekeeping items as well, and then look ahead to what's going on for next week. And then, of course, we'll have our general Q&A session at the end. So if you guys have any questions throughout anything that I'm talking about, please feel free to put it in the chat or just wait until the until we kind of get to that section and we'll go over that. For everyone that's watching on YouTube as well, we'll have links to everything down below for everything that I mentioned today, so you can download or access all of this information. One of the first things I want to mention today, I always like kind of mentioning some of this stuff. We updated our support channel, Stammer AI/support, just the web page that kind of details all of our support options, including some of our new opportunities to get support. One of them being our very successful daily support calls. So a couple of weeks ago, some people were asking if we would have like calls or a phone number or potentially even giving out my personal phone number. So instead of doing that, we're now doing these daily support calls. So every day, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a 30-minute call where you can join and ask any questions if you have anything going on or any issues, or if you just have general questions about how to get started. We've had a lot of folks join these calls over the last week or so, and they've been extremely helpful, not only for, I think, the people joining, but also ourselves to get the feedback from you guys to quickly iterate and improve our platform to meet your needs and get everything moving here. So definitely, if you're interested, take a look at that. We'll be doing one today right after this office hours. And yeah, so that's one of our new things that we're doing. We're also now doing or we brought back the Thursday Agency Accelerator. This was I know Lucas, you were asking about this for a while, so I appreciate you being consistent and asking about it. The Thursday Accelerator call is more focused on the other side of running an AI agency or selling AI agents to your customers. So we go over things like how to acquire customers, how to talk with potential leads, automation sequences, how to set up a CRM, how to run ads, how to create content, kind of all the other things aside from building and the core technology of the platform. So that's a really useful call if you're just getting started or you're more brand new to the agency space. We've had in the past we've had some other like guest speakers as well, so we're going to be bringing that back as well. So just another good resource to get started. And there's a lot of mind maps and tutorials and more information as well that we're going to be pushing on these Thursday calls. So if you're interested in that, definitely take a peek at the Thursday Agency Accelerator call and hope to see you guys there. And of course, there's all of our other links. And I just realized that I'm missing the changelog. So I'll mention that real quickly. Roadmap.stammer.ai. This is our public roadmap as well as our public changelog. So this is all of the specific details and implement fixes and implementations and improvements that we've added to the platform every new update. We've been doing this for basically the past 2 years, detailing every single update on the platform. You can subscribe to this to get an email notification, but we also send this out manually to everyone on our list as well. In addition to the changelog, there's also the public roadmap where you can go in and add in items that you'd like to see on the platform and upvote other ones. This has been very helpful for us to figure out what to work on next, aside from having people just tell us in person. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and review our latest update quickly. Some of the items that people have been asking for are now out and available to you, which is always a good, it's always a great sign. So just to briefly kind of run through this, we've added a few different things in relation to some of the more advanced functionality, which I'll just briefly cover, and that is within the custom functions section. If you're not familiar or you don't have access to custom functions, that is currently a full SaaS mode only feature. But essentially, it allows you to create extended functionality with third-party systems with your AI agent. So examples could be you want to connect an AI agent to a Shopify store and be able to have the AI agent know things about customers or tracking numbers for shipping notifications and things like that. All of that data is available, but it requires authentication. So you have to be able to, have a key that is generated from Shopify in order to be able to access that information. You can't just scrape, data like that from something that has information behind like a privacy wall, essentially. So the custom functions allow you to do that and set that up. This is more advanced functionality. So we do offer support and help to get this set up, but it's one of the more powerful features on how you can, like I said, extend that functionality of an AI agent beyond just being able to answer questions based off of a knowledge base or help people book a meeting or extract lead data from a conversation. So if you have any other questions, we have a lot of tutorials about this as well in our documentation. I'll just quickly show this. So under the labs function here, there's a few different examples, including the Shopify one. So if you're interested in learning on how to set that up, there's a full tutorial here that you can use to get that going. Next up, we've improved the rendering of assets inside of the chat widget. So things like if there's a YouTube URL or an image URL or a picture or information that can be rendered, that will be now correctly shown inside of the chat widget as it is now displaying these HTML elements. This was an update that we pushed, but some people found some edge cases that we've now fixed and resolved. So now that is working perfectly. Next up, we've got the leads notification testing feature. So this is going to be inside of the leads tab here. When you want to extract information from a conversation and then send it to a CRM, we now have the ability to test this out. And so the reason for this is specifically when you're using a CRM or things like GHL, in order to save the automation sequence on the CRM side, you have to send data through that. So instead of having to go through a whole conversation and manually answer questions that the AI agent is asking to then have the AI agent extract your name or email address or something like that, all of that information can be tested manually, which allows you to send that data over and instantly get the automation sequence saved. So this was something requested by a couple different users, I think last week. So that is now out and available for everyone as well. There's a bunch of new API endpoints. This is, again, more advanced functionality for some of our agencies that are doing some crazy stuff. If you're interested in learning more about the API endpoints, you can always go into the white label API section here. And all of these new endpoints have documentation and information about how to utilize them and what they can be utilized for. So I'm not going to go over all the specific ones here, but you can take a look at those at your own pace. A couple other small improvements within the platform, adding tooltips and things like that. So one of the things that I was mentioning earlier on these daily support calls is if people have questions about certain features or things, it helps us clarify how people are looking at these features, which then helps us improve our instructions and tooltips for not only you, but also for your customers to make it easier for you to create or have your customers create these AI agents. So if you ever have ideas or feedback on that, we're more than happy to take that information in and update the platform. Moving right along, we've got some improvements to Master Chat, and there's going to be more improvements to Master Chat out very, very soon. We've been really focusing on getting some of these new things in relation to vision and document uploads as well. But that will be coming out in the next week or so, along with our alternative models, which I'll go over in the future updates in a few minutes. Master Chat, for those who are not aware, is essentially the Chat GPT style-like interface that allows you or your clients to interact with a more common interface that they might be familiar with. So a good use case, and we were going over this in the support call yesterday, is why would somebody want to use this? Well, instead of having to embed an AI chatbot or an agent inside a website or inside an existing chat channel like Instagram DMs or something, you can create or build AI agents and have those AI agents be accessible via this drop-down menu. And then people can talk with these AI agents in this interface. So a good use case would be something like an internal HR team who needs to respond to information, or someone who's trying to generate emails to close clients. This will be a great interface to do so because it'll all be based off of these AI agents that you have already built. Next up, we've updated the dashboard experience. This is something in the UI update, our big UI updates push that we've been working on for the past few months. Last year, this was a lot of the feedback that we were getting was, it looks like an engineer designed it, but we've now been working on redesigning it to improve that outlook, as well as adding certain other features like tags to be able to help you sort and organize your AI agents into different categories. And we're going to be updating this eventually to include folders as well. So certain like quality of life updates that a lot of people have asked for are now starting to roll out. Embed code and meta integrations update. This was something that some folks were asking about. I want to, like, for example, they were saying that, I want to be able to have people embed the AI agent or be able to sell a subscription package that allows them to embed the AI agent, but I would also like to be able to upsell them on meta integrations. So we've actually now split those two permissions into separate permissions. So now there's a permission for embedding the AI agent as well as connecting it via the Meta platform, which is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. By default, the embed option is on. And if you had one of those enabled, that permission is already on. So for existing customers, again, nothing will change for you or your clients, but this is now a new available option that you can engage or disengage at your leisure. Some other quality of life updates that I don't need to really just read, but there's information in here about how you can do that or how you can take advantage of these things. One of the big quality of life updates that I think Drew and I were really looking forward to is now there's a lot of these additional options inside the main menu here. So you don't need to go inside of the agent just to get the embed code or the share link or being able to clone it and things like that. That's always been kind of annoying. So now that is optimized and fixed, as well as the ability to copy the support info. If you're ever having an issue or need to submit a support ticket, copying this support info will basically send us, and pasting that into your support ticket will help us understand exactly which AI agent you're having the problem with, and will help us debug those issues much faster and easier. So that's pretty much all of the updates from last week. Now, quickly moving ahead to some of the things that we're going to be releasing in the next week or so. We have alternative models. So this is a very highly requested feature, not only on the public roadmap, but something that a lot of people have been asking for. We've been looking forward to it as well, because what we found is if OpenAI goes down or has a problem with their API, we can now have a backup model with these other companies like Anthropic Claude and or xAI's Grok. These are both going to be available at different prices based off of the API costs, as well as being able to add your own API key if you're on the full SaaS mode plan. So that way that you bypass that cost and you can just pay the API cost directly. So in this scenario, you can select any model for the primary version, and then vice versa, you could select any of the other available models as the backup. So it works kind of both ways. You can set this up however you'd like, and this should be a really good update for everyone to ensure that any AI agents that you have installed on websites or things will never go down in the scenario when OpenAI goes down. Of course, with these alternative models, you'll be able to set your own pricing for your clients as well, and be able to set or restrict things as needed, just like normal. So that's the first thing. Next thing is, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be some updates to Master Chat, where not only will you be able to use these alternative models, but you'll be able to set up things and use it in the way that you might already be using ChatGPT or some of these other tools like taking a screenshot of an email and adding that screenshot and then having the AI write you a response based off of the email that's in that screenshot, or uploading a document and having the AI agent be able to read that document and then generate a response based off of that document and how you've set up the base system prompt and corresponding knowledge base. So there's a lot of features that we've been working on that have been requested by people to improve our platform, and that's basically how we've been building this company for the last 2.5 years now. Is we build something, we give it out to you guys, we get feedback, and then we improve based off of your feedback. So feedback is super important, which is why again we love doing these office hours as well as our support calls. So that being said, if you guys have any questions, we'll go into the Q&A section here. Drew, did you have anything to mention?
Nope, all good on my end.
Right on. And if you guys haven't met with Drew yet, he's a rock star on the team that handles most of our onboarding calls. So if you schedule a one-on-one onboarding call, you'll be talking with Drew and he'll be able to help you get everything set up on the platform, including your custom domain and setting up your subscription packages and connecting Stripe and all of those good things. Once you get most of those things set up, the platform becomes much easier to use because you don't necessarily have to worry about setting certain things up. You can just start building and selling to your heart's content. So yeah, any questions, comments, concerns that anybody might have today? Andy says, I have a lead that sells interior solutions. Most of their customers don't know exactly what they're looking for. They'd like an AI agent to ask a few questions to uncover the visitor's preferences and then show product images or suggestions that match what they're looking for. Is this type of flow possible to build today, or is this something planned on the roadmap? Yeah, so this would be definitely possible today. It would come down to how you write your base system prompt. So, for example, what you could do is, and one of the most powerful things that you can do in any base system prompt is to include an example conversation. And let me see if I can pull one of those up real quick. So basically what this will do is, I think we got the one in here. What you can do is set this up in a way that will, no, it will set up a conversation with an AI agent. So that way the AI agent knows that the goal is to essentially gather that information from the user. And you could actually not only gather that information, but you could then also extract that information via the leads tab, which would allow you to save that information into the CRM, so to speak. But if a customer responds in a certain way inside of your base system prompt, you could say, hey, if the customer is interested in this type of product or this information, find the most relevant information in the knowledge base, or you could write it in manually as, if they respond in this way, then you should give them this image or this, this specific thing, product link, whatever it may be. There's there's kind of like two ways to go about it. You could load all of that information into your knowledge base and then tell the AI agent, hey, find the most relevant information from the knowledge base and show them the product image as long as the product image URL is available inside of the knowledge base, as well as being able to, and the other option being putting that information just directly in the base system prompt. Drew, do you have anything to add on that one? That's a good question, but it definitely is possible.
Yeah, definitely possible. We just have to customize the prompt in a way to kind of work the user through the ideal flow that we want.
Yeah. Yeah, most in general, when it comes to examples or questions like this, most of it comes down to building out the prompt and then testing it out yourself or having a client test it out and then adjusting the prompt as needed. We've been working on creating an AI agent that will help users write these prompts that will help solve these use cases as well. Is it best to insert this URL image in the internal knowledge base or directly in the base system prompt? You can do both. I would recommend, so if there's only a couple images, I would recommend putting it in the base system prompt. That will ensure that those image URLs are always active, so to speak, within the conversation. If you're doing for example, like a large store that has lots of products and lots of product images and things, then I would recommend using the knowledge base. And then as long as, like I said, as long as that URL is inside of the knowledge base with some sort of reference material, the AI agent will be able to understand that, oh, that's the product image that the customer is referencing and be able to send that image inside of the chat. So for example, we've done ones in the past and I'll have to I'll have to find the right one. But essentially it's like, hey, if I'm looking for I'm looking for this specific hat, as long as we have something in there that says, hey, this is the Stammer AI trucker hat, and then the corresponding image for the Stammer AI trucker hat. And then a customer asks, hey, do you have any hats available? The AI agent will then go to the knowledge base and be like, oh, yeah, here's the trucker hat, and here's what it looks like, and provide the image to the user. So just providing the URL might not be enough, but typically there's always going to be like a product name or a title associated with a product image.
I want to jump in here.
Yeah.
One thing I'd recommend is starting with one image or starting with one piece of information because it's e-commerce stores typically have hundreds or thousands of SKUs. So if we start with one image and one SKU, test it out, make sure that the prompt works in the way that we want it to, then we can scale up from there. It's
Yeah.
much more difficult to have 1,000 SKUs and then try to craft a prompt based on 1,000 versus the one.
Yeah, and working off of that, that kind of goes back to the example conversations that you can put inside of the base system prompt. If you can get the AI agent to work in exactly the way that you want with that one example or that one product or one image, and then you use that as the template inside of the base system prompt as a custom as the conversation example, that will really help the AI agent know, oh, there's now 100 or 1,000 products and images that you could potentially gain, but it needs to be formatted and provided to the customer end user in that specific way that you've dictated from that single image use case. If the internal knowledge base, if in the internal knowledge base, should I then opt for uploading those in the FAQ, or can I just upload it into a doc file? I have before for an impression that it is easier for the AI agent to analyze it better when we are uploading it in as an FAQ. What are your thoughts on that? I would probably start I would probably start just putting it in a document or as like a standard text file. You could obviously put it in as an FAQ. Typically, the FAQ we like to recommend using for that train better response. If something is not correct within the knowledge base or the AI agent is not giving a correct response, that FAQ section will provide more relevant answers if the AI agent goes off a bit. But you could do both. I would recommend starting with the document and then inside that document, just make sure that there's some sort of categorization or like a title or something that provides some context to the agent that this image represents this product or this item. You could put in the URL, but if the URL has some random characters or a name that's not necessarily associated with the product, then it might not work. For another lead that uses GHL, new leads land in the step one registered in GHL, and he manually calls them to ask qualifying questions before scheduling a meeting. He plans to send new leads an automated email with a link to his calendar to save time to call them manually. Any tips on how an AI agent could improve this flow? Ideally by qualifying leads first and only offering calendar booking if they're a good fit. Great question. Drew, do you want to handle this one? I feel like you've got a good answer for this one.
Yep. So the first question would be, how do leads get into the system? Are they coming from a Facebook ad? Are they coming from a website or landing page? Because that could be where an AI agent fits best.
From Facebook ads. Okay.
Got it. From Facebook ads, they go into GHL. From there, you're going to send an outbound automated message. Sounds like an email with a calendar link. The alternative scenario is that instead of pushing them from Facebook ads to GHL directly, push them from Facebook ads to some sort of landing page or website page that encourages them to learn more, to take some sort of action, to book a call, because you could do both of those things at the same time. send them the email that says, hey, just saw you submitted some information. Please book a call with us to take the next steps. And also push them to a page that has an AI agent on there that is devoted to answering their questions and pushing them further down the line.
Yeah. That being said, you could also set it up again with an example conversation that tells the AI agent a set of qualifying factors or answers, for example. So if you were to set up a Facebook lead and the AI agent inside your base system prompt is asking the user, hey, are you, well, I guess in our use case, like, are you brand new or are you already selling? And if one of those qualifying factors is if you're already selling, then you could structure the base system prompt to engage with that user in that way for for that specific answer. He makes traffic go from Facebook ads to a landing page in GHL that then collects contact information in a contact form on the landing page. Got it. So you could do that manually with a form, or you could set that up inside the AI agent to have the AI agent ask the questions within the conversation, and then use the leads tab to then extract that information and then send it back to GHL, utilizing their inbound webhook feature, which would then correlate them opting in on a Facebook ad, as well as the information being pulled from the AI agent as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining today. We got to hop over to the daily support call. If you guys would like to join, I can drop the link real quick here. Copy link. There's that. Hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Take care.